grew up in a Christian household, and we went to church every holiday, sometimes Sunday if we didn't have games. So I would say my family is very lukewarm in how we approach church and how we approach our relationship with God. I went to private school my whole life, so I went to private elementary and I went to private middle school and high school, and I just kind of felt like I was going through the motions with my faith. It was kind of just shoved down my throat basically my whole life. It was a grade for me, and it was something I really didn't look forward to. I just had to do it for like an A in the class. My sophomore year of high school, I started to get recruited, and I put my identity fully in softball, and I would let anything and everything in the softball world affect how I was treating others and just treating my own mental health. So I would say that a big part of my testimony is that softball has really just taken over my thought process, and even as a 14-year-old trying to decide where I wanted to go to college, it was just a really toxic environment to have a 14-year-old choose where they should go for college. I put all my worth and identity into getting a scholarship, and then once I got my scholarship when I was 15, I thought that my purpose was done in life, and I thought that I was just keeping my scholarship was my purpose next at that point. So I was just kind of trying to get this goal, and then when I got that goal, it was over with. So I would say that my identity was fully in softball, and I didn't really have anything other to come back on. I was just going with the world, and I was putting all my time and effort into temporary things that were going to ultimately fail me. So once I got to college, my freshman year was right after COVID, so I was a 2020 COVID senior. I got to Kentucky, and we couldn't do much with the team, so it was just very distant with the teammates and stuff. So once one of my teammates was like, let's go to Bible study, and I was like, okay, sure. At that point, I just wanted some friends to go hang out with because we were so bored in the dorms. So once I went to Bible study, I would just listen, observe. I already knew a lot of things from like school to my whole life, but I never really had a relationship with God. So there's just one Bible study we had at the field, and they were talking about lukewarm Christians, and I finally spoke up for the once in Bible study, and I was like, I'm literally a lukewarm Christian. I'm living one foot in, one foot out, one for the world, one for God. So I realized that I needed to do something different to change who I was going to be and what I was going to do. So after that moment, that was my freshman year, I started to get really invested in my faith and actually had my own relationship with God. And the teammates that my senior teammates when I was here as a freshman, like Mallory Payton, Autumn Humes, and my really good friend JC Babs have been very good mentors in my life, and they've impacted my faith and my walk with the Lord very, very strongly. They're some of my best friends, and just I saw something different in them and the way that they played softball. It wasn't just for the glory of the fans, it was for something else, and I really admire the way they play the game and how they gave all their credit to the Lord, because ultimately it is temporary and we all are going to die, and it doesn't matter what you do on the softball field, but their impact on me was not what they did in the game. It was just how they treated me as a teammate and how they really they exemplified the glory that everything goes to God, and it doesn't matter what you do in the field, and that's what a Christ-like friend should be like, and a Christ-like teammate. So I just think that's really impacted my career here at Kentucky because of the people who have led me, and I now lead the Bible studies for the team, but I couldn't have done it with those leaders who've literally poured into me for 2 to 3 years, just pouring into me, and last year was better for me as I was just trying to be more of a leader. I was being more bold in my faith and just showing my teammates here, like, it doesn't matter what you've done, what are you going to do, like, Jesus loves you. And I think it just really speaks for the people before me that really just gave me that good base to pour into others, because people won't remember what you do on the field, but they do remember how you treat them. And I think I've had a different perspective after accepting Christ into my life. I've had a different perspective on life and different even in any circumstance I still have joy. So I think just being a Christian is really, it's not easy at all, because it's not going to be easy once you just accept Christ. Not everything's going to go away, and all your pain's going to go away, but I think there's a different perspective on life, on how you should live and how you should treat others and how you should lead others, because if you're not pouring into yourself, you can't pour into other people. So that's kind of my story and kind of how Kentucky impacted me. I never thought in a million years I'd be in Kentucky going to church with my friends and my teammates that I would call my sisters. So that's pretty much my story.